Students, today we are going to study about chapter number 2 of Civics class 6, which is titled as Diversity and Discrimination. In chapter number 1, we have already studied that diversity, unity in diversity is a key feature of India. Now, diversity is clear to you. Now, how diversity is affecting people living in society, that is what we are going to study through this chapter. Diversity, if you look at this picture, not everybody is shown of the same height, of same color. This is actually what we define as diversity, that not everybody is same. Everybody has some uniqueness. So when we have covered this already. When I say diversity, it means that we understand and respect that each individual is unique. They will be different with respect to their race, age, their social setup, their economic when I say that, I mean finance, their money power. Their age wise they'll be different. How are you treating if they're old people, or how are you treating them if they're young children, their physical disabilities, their religious belief and other ideologies. So we have these differences right from your north of India to the south of India. But is this variety, is this entire diversity, these all changes in terms of your clothing that we wear, the festivals that we celebrate, the huge language variety and diversity that we have, is it always celebrated, or is there a group of people, or there are many areas and platforms where we find that because of the diversity that we have, people are facing problems? So this is what we are going to do and understand today. Now, when you look at a person from a village background, okay, imagine, just give it a thought and imagine a person from a rural background, from a village background, a rural setup. Imagine what picture you have, and now imagine a person from a urban setting. Okay, so what difference did you find? So when you because immediately you could form a picture, okay, for rural background also and for urban also. But when I tell you of rural background, so immediately the picture that you had in your mind was that the villagers will not look after their health. They might not be staying very in a clean environment. They may not be very educated, okay, and they are migrating from rural background to city in search of jobs, okay. And then for urban setup, then you will find that people are very educated, they live in, their lifestyle is very good, they look after the sanitation. But if you see and in urban area, the people are very educated, okay, they are into good jobs, high profile jobs, okay. But if you see, is it always true that people in rural setup are not educated, or they do not look after their cleanliness, or they are not up to date regarding the news or the happenings going in and beyond our country? It is not. Yes, it is not. And you are living in an urban setting, do you all find everybody looking after cleanliness, irrespective of the fact that they all are well educated if we count their degrees? How badly India is still struggling after so many programs launched by government level and school also. We keep teaching you. Are we all able to make India as a complete clean country? No. So when you judge a person, like when I told you to associate a person from an urban setting and from a rural setting, you had some negative traits associated, could be with rural. I'm not saying that everybody will count rural person only with some negative thought. People count as urban people, urban setting people also with some negative thoughts and notions. So if you are judging a person in a negative way, it is called prejudice. Okay, now in this picture, if you see, the prejudice could be that of the skin color. Your prejudice means that you are judging some person in a negative way. Okay, so people are different, and they are different in terms of facial features, their accent, their eating habit, their costume. There are people who make fun of some people because of the language they speak. Okay, there are. Now, because see why this picture showing two different the skin color, because in history we will read in the next senior classes and in class 6 also, that because of the skin color, and this chapter also I'm going to talk a little about it, that because of the skin color people had faced problems, the way they were treated. Okay, so why is she removing it? Because people have a prejudice, they have the way they treat they judge a person is on the skin color. You will find people who are judging people because of skin color. Now, when you are treating people differently, like suppose there's a group of people, these three birds are identical, they three look like each other, and this bird is put separately. Now, how is this bird going to think of itself? Obviously, when you, and in the class also, if you behave like this, or in your neighborhood, if three children group together like these birds and one is put to one side, so obviously if you don't behave with anyone not properly, then the person, because of your prejudices, you are not behaving properly, then obviously the left out person is going to get affected for its self-esteem. He is going to feel very bad. Okay, and this is what we say, that on one side we are saying that India is celebrating diversity. We have 8 major religions in the world. Everybody is allowed to practice. Okay, and we have 1600 languages and these are mother tongues of different people. Okay, so many dance forms. On one side we are celebrating this, and on the other side these are certain challenges which we have in our society. They are there, but our effort should be to minimize this. So I think with this we understand what is the prejudice. When we are judging a person in a negative way, this holds very important. In a negative way, prejudice is always associated with a negative thought. Okay, showing. Okay, now when we tend to see some person in a predefined image, predefined means if it is a girl, she will play with a like a doll. If it is a boy, the boy will play something like cricket. Okay, these type. So if we have some person with a predefined image, there's a set image, it is called stereotype. Okay, now some example of prevalent stereotypes are, like I'll talk about boys and girls only, that girls should be soft spoken and submissive in nature. Now this is changing a little, but still these things, all whatever we are going to discuss is changing a little, but they are still very much prevalent in our society, especially in villages and small towns. In urban areas also they are there. We are still facing this. Now girls should have keen interest. They are supposed to have keen interest in music and painting, and they cry very often. They should learn cooking, doing household chores. Now how many boys at home are you helping your mothers in your cleaning the dishes and in cooking? If you are doing, that means you are challenging the stereotype. If you are not doing, then you are going with the stereotype that this is your girls work. But I would tell you to challenge the stereotype, go against the stereotype and help your mother. Okay, now boys on the other hand, the girls are expected to cry. It's okay if the girl cries, and if the boys are crying, then it is just not accepted. So is crying related to that you are a boy or you are a girl? When you cry, children, you cry when you are in pain. So it's okay when you feel pain, you cry. What does that mean that you are a girl, so it is okay for you to cry, and you are a boy and you cannot cry? Poor boys, they cannot show their pain. So it's bad. So, and if it is boys are aggressive, they are naughty, it's okay. If girls behave like this, it is not okay. So these are stereotypes that we have in our society. Okay. Now this is a picture that challenges the stereotype. Okay. This boy playing with the girl doll, this girl playing with the rockets. Okay. The roles have been reversed as shown in the picture. And just now I discussed the kind of advertisement this toy company has made. this advertisement is making. Okay, now gender based stereotypes are often portrayed in films. Okay, if you look at the, I have given one activity also at the end to do, so you can actually go through different advertisements shown which are supporting these stereotypes and which are going against the stereotype. There are certain ads which are still showing, the ages back stereotype, they're still following, but there are ads which actually go against the stereotype to make a difference in the society. So there are ads you will find where ladies are shown with kitchen and doing laundry, and on the other hand, if there's a stunt shown, then it will be done only by a male who is like very ferocious looking and very bodybuilding types, that one. So why stereotypes are bad? Stereotypes, we should not encourage stereotype, we should go actually against it and break the stereotypes because they don't encourage success. Okay, now if you look at this picture, the girl is sitting way beyond, okay, in the same classroom where there's a group of children who's sitting to one side, and she's been told to sit in one corner in the classroom. So this is going to affect her self-esteem. She may at one point of time stop coming to the school. And look at this letter. This talks about the opportunities which a girl may not be given because of her gender, because she's a girl, and the boy is given more opportunities. Okay, and similarly, like in your film industry, there are heroines who are like very talented, but they say they are heroines but they do not know how to act. So these are the challenges faced by different group of occupations from group of people. Now if I talk about sports, you must have seen the movie of Amir Khan, Dangal. So there in which he is beautifully portraying that the two wrestlers, female wrestler Geeta Fogart and Babita Fogart, who actually brought laurels to the entire country, our country India, were not allowed to pursue the choice of sport they wanted because it was considered. So that is a stereotype that if it is a wrestling muscular related sport, it has to be linked with boys and not girls. But example of these two, PT Usha was a very famous running champion. We still, as those people who are very good with running, we still associate their name and compare their name with PT Usha. Now again, suppose there is a person who is unable to walk. Okay, he or she is physically challenged. So can we say that because he is physically challenged, he cannot walk? He's been it's unfortunate that he cannot walk. He is physically challenged, so he may be good at some other thing. He may be good at painting. He may be good at writing. So if we have a stereotype that there is some physical disability, so he cannot do something, this is wrong, and our effort should be to break it. Now, because of these stereotypes and prejudices, are we going to consider people as equal? No. Okay. So, because we are not rating people equally, that leads to discrimination. Because we have some, preconceived thoughts and notions in our mind on the basis of which we are considering people, judging people, that leads to discrimination. Discrimination means when you are not you're considering people as equal, that leads to discrimination. And this discrimination, because we are not judging people equally, so we will not give them equal opportunity. So discrimination will lead to equality. Now, when someone acts on the basis of prejudices, the act may result in discrimination. An effect of prejudice and stereotype would be that we are debarring someone from certain facilities and opportunities because they are from certain religion, because they are boy or girl, that means gender, because they belong to upper caste or lower caste, like this. Now, there is three type of discrimination broadly: gender based, which is that means you're a boy or girl. Now we don't see much this in urban setting now, but there are some very rural areas where we see, okay, that girls are not allowed to study. Okay, this is what we see. This is gender based, that girls should be at home doing household chores. But now in urban setting, in our scenario, we don't see this. And girls have come very beautifully challenging all the stereotypes that were prevailing in society. Religion based, that which religion you belong to. Okay, And there are people like, because our society had caste system with Brahmins on the top, then Kshatriyas, then Shudra, then Vaishyas. Okay, so the one on the top, every caste had certain job assigned to it. So people were not allowed to go to place of worship because they belong to certain caste or religion. They could not go to each other. They could not take any job because they belong to particular religion. Okay, the same thing the caste which I have just shown you. Okay. Uh, Now, Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, who is actually the father of our constitution, he also suffered. He also suffered the discrimination as a child, where it's given in your book also that he was at some railway station and his father could not come to collect him on time because of certain reason, and there he faced a lot of difficulty finding a way, mode of transport to reach out to his home after people discovered that he belonged to a lower caste. Okay, but see, irrespective of the fact that he belonged to a lower caste, he made up to such a level that he actually framed. He's known as father of the constitution. The constitution which everybody is following in our country was actually, made up under his guidance and leadership. Okay, similarly, Mahatma Gandhi also, it was not just in India, it is everywhere in the world. People are being discriminated, and Mahatma Gandhi also faced the same discrimination of a different type in South Africa when he was there. Now there when he was traveling in you must have also heard of it, that he was actually asked, he was traveling in a train, and this happened in the year 1893 when a white man objected to him traveling in first class coach. He had the ticket, everything was there, but he was actually thrown out of that coach because we Indians are considered black in the world because of our skin color. Okay, he was not allowed to sit in that coach because he was sitting with a white man. Okay, so globally we have this, and not just in India, and this caste system is so, in our country, was so deep rooted that it was difficult to come out of it as predefined social levels. Okay, now but if I again say that your freedom struggle, again in our freedom struggle everybody was part of it irrespective of the caste too. Okay, now because we know we had always been suffering from these discrimination and the problems that came up from, so we always wanted to bring equality in our society for all the people here. Now, so as a response, like Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he also fought against this, and our Mahatma Gandhi also, like after he faced that incident in South Africa, in response to that incident he formed the first Natal Indian Congress in 1894. This organization led non-violent protest against the oppressive treatment of white people towards Indian and native Africans. Okay, and before he came to India, there he was fighting against the discrimination. Now, when India became a free country, after we got, so our founding fathers thought that if we want a peaceful nation, a flourished nation, we have to take effective measures to stop discrimination. Okay, so caste-based discrimination was a crime as per the constitution. Now, in our country, everyone is equal before law, irrespective of the caste you belong to, the gender you belong to, the language you speak, the state you come from. No matter what, if you are qualified, you will get a job or your admission to any college. You are equal. So whatever facilities and laws are there, they are equal for everybody. And India, our constitution declared India as a secular country. That means we are not treating any religion above over other. All religions are equal. You can practice. Okay, the constitution does not discriminate any person on the basis of religion or caste. And our constitution further placed responsibility on the government to take necessary and effective specific steps to realize this right to equality for poor and for other marginal communities who had been suffering for ages in our country because of the caste system and other discriminations, okay, gender based and everything. Now, this factor, that our embedded factor, we should have respect for diversity, and this was considered as a significant element for ensuring equality. Our diversity is our power, is our beauty, and we all should respect it. Okay, and above all, our constitution says that we have an element of unity, which is our beauty, and we should always live together and respect one another. And please